What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Fourth and 15 with Mel and Smooth. I am Mel, and joining me as always is Ronnie, Big Smooth Hennigan. Smooth, what's up, man?
Mel, I am feeling great. Good weekend, end of the month. And for those of you out there, if you haven't already, you still got 4 more hours to learn more about some black folks. Black History Month.
Man,
Just
you can
saying.
learn that.
All
You
right.
can learn that all the time. Let's be real
Hey, I'm
about
just
that. You
putting it
can,
out there, man, the atmosphere. If you don't know more than MLK, you're doing it wrong.
that's
So,
that is very
hey,
true. That is very
being
true.
honest. But I'm excited about this guest, man. I'm excited about this
Us.
guest.
Okay. Since you brought it up, speaking of guests,
That's deep.
first off, we'd like to introduce our new correspondent because it's Black History Month. So he's gonna teach us a little bit. Our CST correspondent Willie Epting, also from the was it Shakeback Sports Show, the
Shake back,
Shakeback brand.
Shake Back Sports Show, and the hashtag Brothers of Baseball, fellas. Appreciate
Oh,
y'all having me
okay.
on.
I forgot about the baseball one. The baseball one was the one that threw me off.
Yeah.
But speaking of our other guest, we have a very beautiful and yet uh, dangerous guest on our hands today, and the lovely Bridgett, baby doll Riley. Bridgett, how are you tonight?
Oh,
Ooh, did
Oh,
it
we just
freeze?
lost.
Did it freeze? Wait a minute.
she dropped off.
Oh, that's
Oh,
not good. Hold up. Got her back. Add the stream. We got her. She's cool.
I'm backstage.
Bridgett, you with us? I just added you to the there we go.
There she is.
Okay.
hey.
I was backstage.
Okay.
I got kicked to the curb. Hi.
Okay,
Hi.
well, thank you
Is
for
it
joining
is
us
it
tonight.
maybe my settings?
I shouldn't be.
Oh,
You should be fine, but again, she is also a former Power
Like
Ranger.
dragging.
She
There's
mm,
like
That's that iPhone, man. I keep trying to
a
tell y'all.
delay.
I think
mm.
it might be that iPhone. That iPhone is cutting edge.
It's like really slow. It's like a John it's like a John Woo movie. It's like slow motion.
She said the John
Yeah.
Woo.
Wow. Hey, wait. Why
Oh
you say?
Bring
man.
the doves.
Did she really have to go John Woo though? Like, wow. Uh, hey man,
I
John Woo
get
makes
it.
some really
I
good
couldn't help
movies,
it.
man.
It's slow motion. Bring in the doves. Where are the birds? Where are my
I
birds?
It's all good. Oh
we do
man.
have to mention that Bridget has a very great sense of humor. She is also
Yes.
a former kickboxing champ and a former boxing champ. So, fellas, if you're planning on taking your shot at Bridget, she is a dual threat. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah, she'll take a shot at you.
And,
Clearly.
Bring
and
it.
landed.
How
Yeah.
Oh
about that,
man.
Or
Mel?
Oh man. Hey, wait. We gonna get to that because how did Ricky say? Lucy, you got some explaining to do
mm-hmm.
because there's some things I need answers on. But before we get into that, uh, I would like for you to take us through humble beginnings. What was life like growing up for you? How did you get into martial arts?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay. So I was a gymnast when I was younger, and my brother was the karate kid, and he was really amazing. He's my hero. He's the guy. And so I'm doing all my gymnastic competitions, and then we're all, our family was really tight. It was small, and we did everything together. And I started going to his karate tournaments, and I saw the sparring and the camaraderie, and I was like, man, I want to do that. And I remember back then, all the guys, all my brother and his friends, they'd laugh at me. Yeah, right, whatever. I'm like, I can do. So I jumped into karate, and I remember I was really scared. I was really afraid. I'm not even gonna lie about that. I was afraid. I kept saying, I'm just gonna watch, I'm gonna watch one night, and then the next night I'm gonna watch one more night, and then the next night, and that kept happening. And they're like, well, when are you actually gonna jump in the class? And I'm like, oh, the next I was terrified. And once I just jumped in, once you just make that decision, everything started happening. It was amazing. I was like, okay, this is home. Like, I belong here. I found it, and it was great. And I just think God, like he sent his laborers, man. He had amazing coaches. I had, when we uplift each other, it's amazing what can happen when people really support you and push you, and it just like opened up this whole new world, and I became obsessed with it, and I lived at the dojo. Like you couldn't get me out of there, and it was great. I got my black belt really fast, and went through a lot of stuff too. You go through a lot of stuff, and karate, even though they say it's like a game of tag, you can tag somebody, and I loved it. I love that point karate was my backbone, because it helps you get fast. It helps you get speed, helps you, boom, you got to go. You got to be first. And I just kind of like that, because I also like to bang, and I don't mind taking a couple to give mine. So I started getting disqualified and in a lot of trouble. And they're like, maybe point karate isn't for you. Maybe you need to move into
Well,
and continue fighting. Back then, I mean, because we were pioneers. Back then, people weren't really doing it. Like now, it's Starbucks. It's on every corner. Everybody and your mom can get on it in there and get an MMA match and hook up with Dana White. Whatever. I'm not bitter, but it's like everybody and their mom can get into it. Back then, it was different, and it was like, God, I just love bumping. I loved it. I was like, I don't even care if I get hit. I see these girls today, guys, and I'm sorry, I'm rambling. I see them today, and they're like, ooh, I don't know, like, how do you really handle, that thing where they hit you in the face? I'm like, you're in the wrong sport, sister. You need to go ahead and roll out of there. That ain't for you, because I don't even think about you're as a fighter. You're not even thinking about it. All I'm thinking of is wait till I get to you. You know what I mean? Wait till I get to you. You're gonna suffer a little bit.
Yeah. As I was doing some binge watching, I noticed that. But while we have you on the show, I do have a surprise for you. We had a little contest like we did last week, and it was meet our guest, and this particular person actually word for word knew the episode and the lines from your retirement episode of WMAC Masters, and because he was the only one that got it right, we thought we'd bring him on.
Oh wow.
Hey.
Who is it?
They done put some age on, huh? Ooh, my God.
Great war.
Well, I can't see.
That's okay. I got older, but you still look exactly the same.
God. Hey, what's up?
What's up?
Oh yeah, right. No, you look better. You look better. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing great. I'm hanging in there. So
I can't hear anything.
So do I need to turn my volume up?
It's my iPhone.
I don't know. I think everybody.
I think it's my iPhone. It's like.
You know what? Jamie has an iPhone as well, which makes this so much more interesting.
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm so sorry.
What if I need to square up this way? Is that better?
Jamie, what's up?
Just been teaching my little heart out. Just been teaching all the time. So
now, Bridgett, I do have some questions.
I mean, that's so cool.
Because I was actually because I was doing my research, because I had some burning questions like I did Jamie, And my first question is because we all know there was a very big transition from boxing to kickboxing. And, I have a question about a specific fight, and I'm going to get real specific. The Gina Hayes fight. There was a moment in this fight where, of course, Gina's like 2 inches,
Okay.
maybe 3 inches taller than you, but you repeated the same kick, and this girl
She was
did not block this kick.
Here.
Yeah, this girl, you repeated the same kick. It was the straight front kick to the face, and this girl did not block for anything. I need to know what part of the fight did she piss you off to the point you were trying to go for blood? And for those watching, if you have not seen any of Bridget's fights, I recommend you go back to YouTube and go find these fights. Oh, you lose her again. Bridget.
Maybe a delay. Sounds like a delay.
Yeah. You guys and these iPhones, man. But wait, we get her back. We get her back. Here we go. Oh, she's got two sides.
Oh, got the steal in the live feed. Okay, I see how you do it. That's
right.
cool.
That's that CGI that be happening on who's that? Whose movies is that? It's not John Woo's, it's Ang Lee's. Ang Lee's.
Mm.
So Jamie, while we have time, how have you been, sir?
Oh man, doing great. Just good to see you guys again.
Always.
Likewise.
You're always welcome back.
Likewise.
Yeah, I didn't get to ask Mr. Smooth last week if he spells smooth with 3 O's because it's smooth.
Hey, Jamie, I may have to look into that, man. Because
okay, so I'm a big Red Fox fan, and
okay.
One of the Sanford Son episodes, it was talking about how he was talking about being cool, and he said, "But it's cool like with 3 O's because it's cool." And but anyway, I was thinking smooth would be the same thing with 3 O's because a little bit smoother.
I might have to look into that.
They have a DJ down here in Dallas. His name is DJ Smooth with the VE.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. We're gonna keep it rolling. We understand that Bridget's having some technical difficulties. So in the meantime, let's knock these topics out because the first topic we had today was the NFL. And we're learning that as we picked up, JJ Watt is pretty much up for grabs. And as there were, at the time, there were 3 teams that were in the running. I believe it was Green Bay. I know the Browns were in it. And for some odd reason, I was hearing the Jets. I don't know how true the Jets is, but I know the Browns and Green Bay were in the running. Willie, where do you see JJ Watt landing?
Well, the other team in the mix was Pittsburgh and Buffalo.
Buffalo, yeah.
Yeah,
Buffalo for sure.
Buffalo's in the mix too. I'm gonna be real with you. I have no idea. I think JJ is really relishing this recruitment because he wasn't heavily recruited out of high school. He wasn't really sought after as a prospect coming out of Wisconsin. So I'm thinking he's really relishing this role of being recruited. Now, I have no idea where he's gonna go, but where I think he should go if he wants to win a championship, it's gonna either be Buffalo, Cleveland, or maybe even Pittsburgh if they can get their act together on the opposite side of the ball.
Interesting. Everybody keeps saying Pittsburgh. Jamie, what do you think?
Well, to be honest, I am really so busy teaching and training and I have so many classes and stuff. You guys would probably be embarrassed of me that I do not really keep up with team type sports. I watch a lot of boxing and a lot of UFC, a lot of one-on-one sports. But as far as team sports, I'm really out of the loop. I couldn't really tell you anything.
That's understandable. Uh, I'm gonna go next because I got a theory again, and I know this sounds weird, but what if he goes to Kansas City?
I hate them.
That was
Tell us what you
I-
really think.
right.
Hey,
Like, go a little deeper into that there, Will. You know,
you know what? Real talk. I said
I
that
gotta hear
just so
that.
I said that just so I could hear Willie say he hate Kansas City. That's the only reason I even threw that out
Oh
there.
man, I gotta hear this, man. Will, it's hitting you hard, bro. I need to know, man. What's that
Clearly.
about, man?
Well, let me finish. Let me finish. Give me
All
one
right, all right,
second
yeah,
with this.
yeah. Finish that, cause I gotta know now. That
Now
reaction
hear
was
me out.
genuine.
Hear me out. What if he goes to Kansas City because they don't really have a lot of issues with the cap? And because they don't have a
Mm,
lot of issues with the cap, if JJ will go for the right price, that shores up the defensive line. I know what everybody's going to say. He's injury prone now. He can't stay healthy, takes plays off in some instances. But what if this is that year he gets it together and literally makes a play to try and win a championship and he feels like Kansas City's his best bet? Just a theory. It's just
mm,
a theory. Willie, I know you hate Kansas City. I'm not going to say no more about them. Outside of Cleveland, I think that team that wears red with the arrow on their helmet may be the best chance for him. And I know it sounds weird, but just think about that. Your brothers play for Pittsburgh. I get it. If my brothers was playing for Pittsburgh, I'd want to go there too. But you can do that when you on your way out the door. The
mm-hmm.
clock to the clock to win a championship is ticking, and you don't have that much time left. Who's the best team in the AFC? It's the Chiefs. Now,
Yep.
unless you decide to go play with Tom Brady, I hate him. Uh, unless you decide to go play with Tom Brady, which I seriously do not think will happen. The Cleveland and Kansas City are your only good bets out of the AFC. Baltimore's still struggling. Pittsburgh needs to get Ben to either retire or give back some of that money so they can get back under the cap, which I think they're in the process of doing. I just feel like, there is a way and there should be a way either Cleveland or the team out in Missouri finds a way to land him. And I think his best bet to win a championship is the team out in Missouri. His best bet to be part of a contender is in Cleveland. Just I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but my theory is,
A
if
theory.
everything a theory, yes, but we've seen weird stuff happen this year or this past season in the NFL. So I wouldn't be surprised if he does that.
I can kind of see that. I can kind of see that. But I
But
gotta hear
but
this,
what?
man.
Oh man,
I gotta hear his dislike for this, man. I have to.
oh man, it's simple. He's a Raiders fan.
Oh, okay. That's a divisional thing. I get it. I
No,
totally get that.
it's a little deeper than that.
Deeper than that. Oh, okay. Well,
It's a little deeper.
because I gotta. Cause I mean, I guess like for me and Mel, it's different, right? You figure so. He likes Pittsburgh. I like Cleveland.
Raiders.
But whoa, we got another one. Whoa,
She got her
No,
thumb.
she said no. She got a thumbs down. She don't like the Raiders. That ain't good.
oh, what's it? This gonna be good. A little discussion
I don't.
here.
I don't want no smoke.
Yeah, I'm gonna back away from that one.
I want all the smoke. All of it.
He like, I'm in the safety of my home.
Well, that's the one thing he's got going for him. Because if this was a studio thing, I don't think we hear from Billy the rest of the show.
Bro, I can feel her jabs through the camera. Like I'm good.
Man,
That's right.
dude.
You guys, I'm so sorry. My phone is messed up or something. It's really staticky.
Uh-oh.
I don't know nothing
How do
about
I fix
iPhones. Jamie, where's Grayson?
Oh,
Grayson is he's just behind my phone over here. He's right here.
Where is he when you need him?
Here he comes. He's
We got another. Oh, Grace, what's up, man?
So, Grace,
What's up, guys?
We got another iPhone
Hi.
user. Babydoll is having technical
What's up,
issues,
Grace?
and I know nothing about iPhones at all.
Man,
Um,
the signal.
So Bridgett, this is my boy. This is my son.
And it's Grayson, not Grace. I think you might have misheard.
Oh my God.
My bad, man. Sorry. All right, I'm sorry.
It's so nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, as far as your phone and your
It's nice to
connection,
meet you. Oh my God.
Does he look just
Wow.
like I used to look? Does he look like I used to look a long time ago? Before I fell off?
Yes. Oh my. Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Coffee get better. It's like wine. Yeah.
Mm.
Chip off the old block.
okay,
gotta
thank you
get
very
down
much.
there.
Thank you so
Good
much.
time.
Yeah,
Yes.
I wish I could help you with your
man.
connection. I
Solid.
prefer the iPhone myself. Mel likes to hate on the iPhones, but
Have you
I like that.
have you tried turning it off and turning it back on?
Yeah, that's about all I got.
I
too.
know that sounds ridiculous, but sometimes when I can't get YouTube to come up or some video I want to watch, if it's slow, I just turn it off, wait about 10 seconds, turn it back on, it's fast again. So
Yeah. There could be a dead spot in your house too. There could be an area in your house where you don't get as
Should
good
I
a
do that?
service.
My phone? Turn my
Maybe so. Maybe so.
yeah, maybe turn it off, turn it back on, and maybe do it.
should I turn my phone off and then on?
Yeah, and then we'll
Try
we'll pick you back up. We'll keep the show rolling.
We are from Alabama. We don't, we're not that bright.
Okay. 2 shakes
Speak for yourself.
of a lamb's tail. P-
oh man,
Wow. You guys
all good.
are something else.
So I didn't have this on last week.
What is that? Oh, he got the necklace.
Oh yeah, there we go.
I gotta show you.
There you go. Complete the set.
Now I have to explain
Nice.
for Willie. Willie,
Oh man, that's great.
I don't know how big you are into martial arts or the martial arts scene, but there was a show in the mid 90s called WMAC Masters. Jamie Great Wolf Webster, Bridgett Riley, and a few other people were part of this show. And this is what got me into martial arts. This is what got a lot of people in our generation into martial arts. And it spanned over into movies, it spanned over into the Power Rangers, dare I say Ninja Turtles. So we had been trying to find these people for the longest. And to be honest, Great Wolf was the hardest one to find.
You can't sneak up on an Indian.
That is true.
Not
That is
supposed
true.
to be anyway.
No
But
argument there.
But I am one hairy Indian. I'll tell you that.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. But
Yeah, that's one of the directors on the show. He was from Israel, and so his accent, he would talk like this, and I had to shave every day for the show because I'm not full blood Indian, but they used to piss my dad off if I ever said that I wasn't, because I would say, well, I'm only part Indian, and he would say, yeah, but which part? What does that even mean? Because he didn't like for me to say that. But I would have to shave every day, and Isaac, one of the directors, he's like, man, you are one hairy Indian, Jamie. He said you could grow your beard out after this show. Grow your beard, and I'll have you play terrorist. In the next movie I do, you can play terrorist.
oh my God.
Oh man. Oh dude.
And you know what? Speaking of Isaac, we did find Isaac actually. We found him here on Facebook. Sent him a message. We're still waiting for a reply, but he does know. Well,
Okay.
We have found him. I'll say that.
Okay, I sent him one, and he said that he would normally be happy to do it, but he's traveling and he would be unable to do it. He said he was
That's
traveling.
fine.
So
The offer's always extended.
he's a great dude.
Absolutely.
He's a really good dude.
All right, moving right along. Do this.
Hey, wait.
NCAA.
Let me tell you something about this.
Go ahead.
So there's two necklaces I wore on the show. One was a white necklace that was made of dentalium shells, which some Native American tribes use that as money. This is actually made of bones, and the wardrobe department did not make this is not like a plastic one that you get it like a kid's toy. My parents actually made this. I was down working on the show and told them I needed a necklace, and so the way you get the bone to get this color is you dye it in coffee or tea overnight. So they dyed it in coffee or tea, and then they mailed it to me the next day. So that's how I got the necklace on the show. So my mom made it.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, pretty
Nice.
cool, you know. But anyway.
Okay. Moving right along, we got the NCAA. And there's a couple of big things, and one of them just popped up on me actually within the last hour. There was a report coming out that UCLA has scheduled 2 HBCU schools in Alabama State, and I believe it was the Alabama State and somebody else. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they have scheduled them for 2022 and 2023. To me, this is big. Not only because HBCUs need more love and more mainstream focus anyway, but these 2 HBCU schools will be traveling to UCLA for the first time ever. Like, UCLA has never played an HBCU school. Now, granted, it's going to be at home. I get it. But hindsight, I think this is a great move. And I think this was something that not only should have been happened, but in the case of the HBCUs, I think this will be a great move. And I think you'll see more of it in the future. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually excited to see this.
I'm all for it, man. I feel like, definitely a long time coming. We've always seen like the different, FBS, FCS matchups and stuff like that. And when those happen, sometimes you'll just see maybe like a Grambling play like, Columbia University or something that isn't as big, like on a broader scale. So to see a team like UCLA, accept that invitation and to make that happen is pretty cool. And the other team you were talking about, Mel, was North Carolina Central.
I'll take that.
Yeah, so North Carolina Central and Alabama State University.
Roll Tide.
Yeah, I'm looking forward
Roll
to it.
Tide.
Oh, come on.
Oh, man.
Didn't we hear enough of this?
I hate
No, we know Nick Saban's got tiger blood. We know.
I'm with you on that one. Willie. I'm with you on that.
It's hard, man. I can't hate Saban, man. He's a Kent State alumni and a former Browns defensive coordinator. So
I don't care about none of that.
I'll take it.
I don't care about none of that. Where is he at now?
Right.
I hate him now. I don't hate him back in '94. I don't hate him back in 2003. I hate him now.
Who are we hating on? Wait. Who are we hating on?
Nick Saban.
No, he walked right through COVID. He just walked right through that. Boom.
Twice.
You saw how he didn't. What other game was it that he didn't coach? The second game he didn't.
He can even
He chose not to.
he can beat Auburn when he takes a sick day. I mean, come on.
It's that Aflac. It's that Aflac duck, man. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm. He made sure he's available for that Georgia game, though.
Oh, what?
Sure.
He
made
knew
sure
that was coming.
He wasn't missing that. Oh, he missed that game. They was losing that game. You couldn't lose that game. We already know what it is.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. I'm good with it.
And in other news for NCAA, the NCAA football game will actually return within the next 2 years.
Yes.
Only problem with that is the University of Notre Dame refuses to sit by or be involved with the game rather until they can figure out some compensation for their players.
Oh.
Don't scream at me. I didn't make this up. It was reported by ESPN. I get where they're going with this though. It makes sense to do because, you know, you look back on it, everybody that's been on an NCAA football cover has never been compensated. They wait till after they're graduated or drafted or whatever, and they put them right on the cover the next year. The first person I remember seeing was Joey Harrington, and then from Joey Harrington, you saw Jared Zabransky, you saw
Reggie
who's
Bush,
on? There you go.
Bush was on
So
Tebow, Larry Fitzgerald was on. Was
05 was yeah 05.
Yep.
So I have no problem with Notre Dame taking a stance on it, even though they're one of the richest college programs ever. But to see them taking the step forward makes sense, and I commend them for it. How it plays out with EA Sports is something else that remains to be seen.
True that.
No, I feel that, man. Absolutely. Because for me, I know like when I used to play these games, it was like, okay, you saw the guy on there. He's probably like maybe the, hottest thing going, or maybe he was like a previous year's Heisman winner or whatever. And they slap him on there. You're like, okay, so he's back on the cover with his college jersey on. Okay, that's a little different, whatever. And to my knowledge, it was funny because then I didn't know they weren't being compensated at all until that big report came out and the game stopped being made and whatever else. So I found that very strange too. And I kind of see why Notre Dame's doing it. At the same time, it's like, okay, everybody's like, man, I just wanted to come back. They're ready for the, production of it because a lot of us have been playing these for a long time, man. We just want to see it back. You know what I mean? But I get it. I totally get it. I'm not hating.
Willie, what about you? Well, I know you don't play games, but you are an NCAA.
Wait. You didn't just profile me. I think you just profiled me.
I never seen. Wait. To my defense, To my defense, I've never heard Willie talk about playing a video game in any shape or fashion. Number two, when I made the post or made the comment in our group or Cleveland Sports group chat about the sports games episodes, I did not see you say anything one time. So you left me with the impression that you didn't care for video games and all you hated was Kansas City.
Oh man. Okay, let me speak on this then because I got a couple things to say. Number one, NCAA college football. Me and my sons were just talking about that the other day, and I have been in dynasty mode in 2000, and I want to say when Tim Tebow was on the cover. I think it was 07, maybe 08 was Jared Zabransky. I want to say it was 07. So in dynasty mode or in dynasty mode, I went from 2007 all the way up to like 2039.
Jesus.
That's how you was playing for real.
That's how big I was into that. And
you was Saban.
Yeah.
Dedication.
So and I would pick teams like in the FCS and then schedule a bunch of top ranked teams. Just to get seriously, it was that in depth for me. And then with Madden, I also played Madden a lot too. I was a Madden king, man. I was a Madden king. So,
oh God,
in the October years of my life, I have kind of put down the game because I, number one, didn't want to ruin the hopes of young kids everywhere.
So I can see that. Respect.
And then number two, it's kind of like what Cam Newton did with Joseph Owens in the video that went viral. I don't want to have to put people in their places, man, messing around with the OG.
Hey man, I really wish because I saw that video multiple times. I really wish Cam would have hemmed that boy up like he did Josh Norman.
That takes a lot of growth. That took a lot of growth because, man, I'm like, Cam about to kill this little dude, man.
I was waiting on it.
Hit him with the verbal jabs, Where your daddy at? I'm like, ooh. I said, ooh, don't do that. Ooh. You hitting him with that kind of stuff. I said, okay, he's not even touching him physically. That's some other stuff, emotional, mental. Like he was getting at that kid. I'm like, oh, I wonder if he even realized what's going on.
Man,
Look
and
at
I
this
saw
video
this
later and
kid.
be like,
I saw this kid's highlights. It's only like 5 of them. I don't got nothing.
Mhm.
I don't got nothing.
And speaking of NCAA, because I had to do this, man. So
Man,
I still play that.
Oh,
Still got that.
What year is
right?
that? That look like 12. Is that 12?
That's 12.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
because 12 has to go along with this.
Put it back up there again.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
I
this dude.
12 with Mark Ingram. After he won the Heisman, right? So you got that, right? And then you could take your player and put him on Madden, but I had to have that one. As a fan, you got to have your team, man.
Was,
you know what I'm saying?
What was Peyton Hillis?
Yep. He was the one and only Browns player ever.
He was never the same.
Never.
It's that Madden curse, man. Y'all thought it was a joke.
And you know
Madden
what?
curse is real.
And that's the last time that Arkansas was relevant. Man,
that is also
let me
true.
tell you. Him and McFadden was on the same team. That you talking about a 2-back tandem? They was running all through.
No. Not only was it McFadden, it was also Felix Jones was on that team.
Yeah, he was there too. Yeah,
Wow,
they had a nice little back. Bro, they backfield was nasty. Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody be talking about, Bama and Georgia and some other schools. They had they backfield was cold too.
Sadly, they never won a national championship.
That's because they had very poor quarterback play.
What?
Their quarterback was a crackhead. No, y'all laughing at? Y'all know Matt Jones was a crackhead.
Ooh, yeah, but we didn't think he was gonna really say it.
Yeah, I didn't think I was trying not to. Man.
Hey man, you gotta have some. Well, the FCC ain't gonna come after us, but damn.
I mean, it's not a lie, but I was.
And it's not.
We get it.
And but it's not even a cuss word. So we have said far worse things in screen.
That's true.
Very true.
Look, fellas, I appreciate you guys having me on, man. I got to bounce. So I enjoyed this. I had a lot of fun. When Bridgett comes back, tell her I was looking forward to asking her a couple questions. But I got to bounce.
That's fine, man. You're welcome back.
No.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Y'all be good.
All right, you be good up here.
I appreciate you, man.
Kids' hopes and mad.
Yeah. All right, man. Y'all be good.
All right, man. Take it easy.
All right, man.
Did we freeze up? Who froze up? All right. That was Willie Epting, our CST correspondent. We were still waiting for Babydoll to come back. She's still having tech issues, but we will welcome back Jamie Great Wolf Webster. And in another instance, we will welcome the kid himself, Carmichael.
Hey, Carmichael. What's up, man? What is up, man?
Now, we're still waiting on Bridgett to come back, but in the meantime, kid, I don't know how well you are faceted in the sports realm, but we would like your input on this as well. We had one more NCAA game. This was smooth. Roy Williams, head coach of the UNC Tar Heels, is in the record books now. He's got his 900th win. Smooth, I know you probably jumped up and down on that.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
But how did you feel about you being a Tar Heels fan? How did
Who was that?
Huh?
Go ahead. I can hear you now.
I can hear Smooth.
Well, I was saying, how did you feel about seeing Roy Williams hit that mark?
Oh, for me, it was epic, man. I mean, I've followed him for a very long time. I know the success that he had with Kansas, and then him being at North Carolina, getting the title for us and whatnot. My thing is, this season has not been the greatest. It's probably the worst season I think I've ever watched, to be honest, when it comes to being a Tar Heel fan in general. And to see them get that upset, I think was part of it too. So it's like not only do you get your 900th win, but you also upset Florida State in a comeback. So it was just cool to be able to see that, man. I was ecstatic. I'm like jumping for joy, and I know I sent you the information, and it's just cool to be able to see someone who is on that level of coaching, or to be able to have that kind of relationship with their players, to not be in the midst of a bunch of different scandals or whatever else, and to actually reach a milestone like 900 wins is not something that every coach at that level gets to do. So, hats off to, the Tar Heels for that, and for Roy Williams as a coach. So I was excited, man. I was ecstatic. Seriously.
I will say this: when you sent me the link and the headline, I was happy for him, because not many coaches reach a milestone as far as victories and such are concerned. So I was happy for him in that light. But I'm not a Tar Heel fan; I'm a Buckeyes fan. So congrats, man. Coach Roy. Congrats to Coach Roy. But if he don't make the tournament, I'll take that this year.
Hey, they up and down this year. I'll be surprised, man. Speaking of which, man, you think OSU gonna turn it around, man? They got a slump right now, man.
I'm hoping
they dropped to Iowa today, and they lost to Michigan, man. I was like, what's going on?
That Michigan game was crap. Let's just call it what it was. I questioned the calls on that game, but I will say that for me, I'm hoping that they do, because again, this is one of those situations. I feel like if you were going to be able to steal a championship, this would be it. Everybody's taking a hit. Everybody's taking the big losses. Baylor even just got jumped on by Kansas the other night. So if Ohio State was going to steal one, this would be it. I just hope that they do.
Definitely.
And speaking of which, hopefully we got this right. She's back.
There she is.
Oh my gosh. You guys.
She's like, what happened?
Seriously. I was trying to download Chrome on my Mac Air, which sucks. That thing holds about as much. I mean, like, come on. My phone holds more than that Mac Air. But anyway, I couldn't figure it out. It said like Chrome, Firefox, whatever. I'm back. What's up?
What's happening? How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Hey, I just want to say something. I didn't go to my senior prom because I was filming with you guys. So this is the closest I got to having a date my senior year in high school.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah.
Yes. That is awesome.
Do it again.
That is cool. Awesome. Kid, you got lucky, man. You are the lucky one.
Great.
You two guys age the best. Y'all age the best.
Because we had the same fit.
You did.
Burgundy and black.
Yeah, y'all got the same. Y'all got the same outfit. No, I'm kidding.
That's awesome. That is awesome. Yeah. He said that is the closest thing I came to a prom date.
In the words of the late great John Witherspoon, you got to coordinate.
Yeah. Clearly,
you're like the baby. You were the baby, and then there was Hakeem, who was like grandpa. And remember? Yes. And then,
well, I remember
we were
that,
like all in the middle.
Okay, so Bridgett, how old were you when you worked on the show?
I'll never tell.
Okay, so I was 20. I was 25. I was 25, and I was
a lot younger.
Okay, I thought so. I thought, yeah. So I knew Carmichael was like 17, 18.
17, yeah.
Oh, he was the baby.
Yeah, he was the baby. So I was 25, and I remember thinking that Chris and Hakeem were so old because they turned 30 years old when they were working on the show. I thought, man, these guys are 30 years old. They are so old. And then I found out that Herb was 36 or 35.
What?
And I was like, good Lord. Like, I'm 25. He's 35. He's like a grandpa.
I didn't even know that. That's why we called them, because we were kids. I mean, Carmichael's kids. We were kids, and like we didn't know anything. And like 30 then was like you're ancient. Like
yeah, that's right.
It's so weird, you
Wow.
know how everybody's like, oh, you're gonna feel it when you get older. You're gonna feel it. I'm like, not me.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I used to think about me. I was like, no, I won't. I'll be able to still backflip when I'm 50.
Yeah, I can't even do it. I can't even turn it around. It's
Yeah,
like,
my dad's like, no, you won't. He said, you won't be able to do it. And he said, you might want to take pictures now because you won't. Yeah, look back.
Now, Bridgett, I do have to ask, 'cause I still need an answer to this question. There was 2 fights again. The first fight was the fight against Gina Hayes. Why did you have to beat that girl up the way that you did? And I watched that fight again, and it's different seeing it now than it was back in 97, 98. What about that fight? What about that fight made you feel like you could be, well, you were champ if I'm not mistaken, but what was it about that fight that propels you to want to keep going and defend the title?
Okay. Because that was like one of the fights that was getting me closer. Like my team, I was with Benny the Jet's sister, Lily, Rodrigues, and that was my team. And like this was an outdoor fight, like Chad Stahelski, like all the people who I didn't even know were like, you know, big shots were there. It was so good that I was this little country bumpkin. They called me a hillbilly from Missouri. That's what they said. But it was good that I was like, you know, ignorance is bliss. It was good. I had no idea. All kinds of people were there. All I knew is it's one step closer getting me to the world title. And that was the whole reason I moved to LA. I showed up after I drove cross country in my Nissan 200 SX with $100. I showed up at that center and I said, and you know what? It was just a chance that Benny happened to be there. You know, he was like doing seminars all over the world. He happened to be there that day. Lily happened to be there. Belinky happened to be there. It just it just all fell into place. It was my lottery ticket. I showed up. I said, I'm here to become the world champion. They're like, this white girl is like crazy. And, you know, because it was in Van Nuys. I was in the hood. I never knew like cholos. And I'm like, what? Why can't I look at them? What? They're looking at me. I mean, I was like this crazy girl. I showed up and then they signed me. And so that fight was a big fight for me because it was getting me closer to fight for the world title. So it mattered. And that girl got out there and she did like the splits in the center of the ring. I was like, I look at Lily and I'm like, is she serious? Like, what is she doing? Like, we're about to throw down and she's out there doing the splits. I just thought it was hilarious. And I just said, I need to put it on her. And I just really needed to make a mark. It was a big fight because I had to prove myself to the Jet, you know, to like, you know, to all those people and that I'm here for real. Like, you know, so it mattered. And she had a lot of energy. I was like,
yeah, she did. Yeah, because she came out the first couple of rounds. She was real aggressive. She was real aggressive. And then that kick came to the face like 3 different times. And I was like, yeah, it's over with.
Fun. It was so much fun.
Okay. And my second question, because this one I just watched last night.
It just came together.
I got my last question for this one. You made the transition to boxing.
Uh-oh.
And
what fight?
you know what fight. It was the Trevino fight.
Yes.
Now, I'm setting this up because the way the fight plays out, it doesn't look like it, I'm sure. And the first round, you get knocked down. She gets a good punch in, knocks you down. But the rest of this fight, You become the most meanest, aggressive person I've ever seen in a boxing ring, not named Mike Tyson. What happened that you started going for blood?
I think we lost her again, man.
Oh, you lost her again? Yeah.
Well, you know, a thing about Bridgett is, you know, something about Bridgett was that I noticed, because a lot of people on the show, like some were like real fighters and some were more forms competitors, and like Christine Bannon could spar, but like Bridgett was like a real fighter. Like she was not like some people are, not that point sparring is not fighting, but like she is a different style of fighting, like kickboxing and stuff. I mean, you know, it's a whole different animal. And when she was talking about going out there with like $100 in her pocket and stuff, like you fight a lot harder when you're hungry like that, because like I study like old boxing films and fighters, and like the great Jack Dempsey, who was like a heavyweight champion 100 years ago. When he first got into fighting, he said he would go like 2 or 3 days with no food because he didn't have money, and he was fighting for money. And he said, let me tell you something. He said, when you haven't eaten for 2 days, you can fight. You can really fight.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that is crazy to me, because, you know, I kind of grew up, you know, where I had food every day, but, you know, these guys are for real. And Bridgett, she's the real deal. She could really, you know, like Hakeem was a real fighter. Like he was not just martial arts, could demonstrate pretty kicks and stuff. Like he could fight.
Yeah.
You know.
Bridgett, we got a surprise. We got another surprise for you. 2 more people that want to say hi.
Oh, it's about to be awesome.
Yep.
2 more.
1, 2.
Hey.
How you doing, baby doll?
Hey, Bridgett.
Did she disappear?
Oh my God.
I think she's
frozen. I wanted to say hi.
Yeah.
I had dinner with my wife. Say hello to my wife and my children, everybody. It's my wife's birthday. It's an opportunity to say hi, Brid. Good to see you.
Happy
Hello.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. I'll try to get back later, but we just got here. I'm sorry, but I would
okay.
to say hi.
Wow.
This is great.
Now, Christine and Bridgett, now that we got.
Oh my gosh. Hi, you guys.
How are you?
Wait. Now, Bridgett and Christine, here's one for you. I know you're going to beat me up for this. I'm sorry, but.
Cute. Look at that picture, Grayson.
Back in the day.
I gotta tell him about what you said about her accent. He thought she was That's so funny. So Christine.
Yes.
So So
too
last
good.
week when
It's too funny.
So last week when we were through with the podcast, my son says, so where is Christine from? Is she from like Australia? And I said, no, I think that's like a Warwick, Rhode Island, Boston accent.
Yep, the New England accent.
Yep.
Rhode Island.
Yes. So you're in Florida now, right, Bridgett?
It's so distinct though. Like nobody yeah, I moved to Florida. It's like I was like, I'll never leave LA. Ever. I was like, I'll never leave LA. And then I was like, I'll never get married. And then I'm like, I'll never marry a guy who's got an ex-wife. And then I'm like, I'll never marry a guy who's got kids. Guess what? I got it all. Shit happens. And that's not a cuss word in Texas, so it's legal.
Okay. Because my computer's dying. I'm plugging in.
Bridgett, do you remember this picture by chance?
I have that magazine.
I look like almost like a man with a wig. I'm not a fan of that picture.
Why not? That's an awesome picture.
Yeah, it's a great pic. Oh, she fell off again.
Man, that's that MacBook stuff, man. I'm telling y'all. We don't have these problems. We don't have these problems with Android.
No, not at all. Not one bit.
Don't have these problems with Androids at all. We got her back.
There we go.
Bridgett, I just want you to know
Hey, I keep
after the
getting
show.
Hey, Steamy.
It's okay. Last week they were gonna fly down here and kick my butt.
Doesn't like me.
Actually, I think it's an iPhone. We're gonna start a GoFundMe to get you an Android phone.
Good luck with that.
I mean, I can make some calls now. I know some people in Florida.
Hey, you know what? What browser were you using, Bridgett?
My people will give your people. Who doesn't have an iPhone though? I don't understand that.
I don't. I have an Android.
Yeah, buddy. Oh yeah.
Android forever.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good.
Well,
Android forever.
No, Android forever. Listen, I had the BlackBerry forever.
Me too.
I could type a report on that thing, and then the BlackBerry went out. I was really good. Oh snap!
Well, we heard Jamie's phone story last week, so I don't think anything could top that one.
Man.
Well, my problem is that I forgot you guys were an hour ahead, so I thought
it's so good to see you guys.
I thought I wasn't going on until 8, so I came down and got set up at 7. And my son calls me. He goes, like, you're on like right now. I said, no, I got like an hour and 2 minutes. He goes, no, you got 2 minutes. Like you're on right now. I'm like, I don't know how to do this. I can't do this. So, we were like 15 minutes late. It was all my fault, but
it's technology. I'm like,
yeah. Apparently, I don't know that there's time changes.
My fault, Jamie. Right now, be so late.
That's right. Always late.
Hey,
man,
Jamie,
look at that.
If
I was on Indian time.
15 minutes early, you're on time. Oh,
that's right. Usually I'm on Indian time, so I just kind of do it when I get around to it.
Where do you live right now?
Where do I live? I live in a little town called Trinity, Alabama, and it's about 10 minutes from my school, which is in Decatur. It's in the north part of the state. And I got 2 schools. I have one in Decatur, and then a couple of my black belts run one for me in Madison. Madison is very close to like Huntsville. Most people have heard of Huntsville, like the Rocket City, because there's all kinds of the space stuff over there. A lot of jobs for NASA and the Arsenal and things like that.
So, Bridgett, you still doing a lot of film work or just relaxing?
She's frozen.
Again. We got it. I'm telling you, man, you don't have these problems with Android.
I'm not even on my phone. I'm on my computer.
All right.
Well, so you must have a good computer.
There she is. She's back. Is she frozen again?
Probably.
I'm sorry, you guys. I tried to get on my Mac, but it wouldn't let me. I was downloading Chrome and it said keep download it. I said I did download it. It's not cooperating.
Uh-oh.
I'm so sorry. So good to see all you guys. This is cool.
Why don't you just roundhouse kick it? Just kick it.
I know.
Punch it.
I downloaded Opera too. I did all kinds of. I know.
So, Bridgett, what have you been up to?
It's good to see you guys.
Oh, it's deep lag with that iPhone.
Well, I did get cancer. That was a bump.
I know.
Wow.
I did get that. 2019, I got cancer. So that was like taking a bullet. Yeah, I went public with it because I was like, what the hell? As soon as I found out I'm like probably not gonna die, I was like, all right, I'll go public with this. If I can help one person, I want to help them. And it was I just did Bad Boys for Life, and I shot that in Atlanta. Amazing time, worked really hard. My mom's like, would you please go get your colonoscopy? I'm like, I'm not too excited about that. And I finally did it, and I'm glad I did it. So I went through all of that. Now I'm cancer free. Thank God.
Wow.
I
And
know,
so I'm
that's
just
awesome.
now coming out on the other
Amen.
side.
That's great.
Yeah, praise God. God is so good. And yeah, that was an awakening, and I'm just glad to be here. So I'm trying to figure out what's next. I mean, I don't know. I'm probably gonna start teaching a little bit more boxing. I wanna work with girls. I want to work with girls who are getting bullied. I want to work with women. I want to learn how to fight. I want them to learn how to fight right with really good technique, and it's a great workout, and it's empowering. And
It is.
I don't know. I mean, I love martial arts. I love kickboxing. I love karate, but I love boxing. It's just, for me, it's fun. It's just fun. I like to crack. I like to put my punches together in bunches, and that's kind of where I'm at right now.
Man,
Awesome.
punches and bunches was what scared me, man. That Trevino fight. Thought you killed that lady. Yeah, you gotta see that fight for what it is, man. That she gets knocked down in the
She's
first
a
round,
good
she gets
opponent,
back
though.
up.
What? Styles make fights.
Yeah, but
She's like
when you got
Arturo
up from that first knockdown, it was
Gotti.
like
Remember Gotti when he was alive? Like until he got cut, he wasn't in the fight.
that's true.
Oh,
Yeah,
That's
I
true.
remember that fight.
that was
Yep, saw
Aisha
that.
Lawson. That was good. She was from Liverpool, and she said in all the interviews, she literally said, "Oh, it won't go past 4." And I was just like, "Wow, she's calling the round. Like, that's pretty cocky." And I was nervous. I was like, "This is probably gonna."
Poor Bridget.
Mm.
Man, iPhones, man. I'm telling you. Yeah, we
So,
starting to
hey,
go
Carmichael.
funny.
Okay, here she comes back. Here she comes back. Okay. I was just going to kill some time until she got back. I had a couple questions for her.
Well, go ahead. It's an open discussion. I think we can handle it.
But I know, but she's the guest. I didn't want to step on her toes.
Oh, we're fine. We're all
She's
family
frozen
here.
again.
This is
So,
cool.
Carmichael, how did you get
You
in
did
martial
step on my
arts?
toes. I getting kicked off. What happened?
It's your
I
iPhone.
don't know. We lost you, so I was just going to ask Carmichael how he got into martial arts. How did he start? He had just mentioned June Ree last time. I just didn't know if he started with the June Ree school.
No, I did.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's interesting you say that, Jamie, because actually, thankfully, Carmichael decided to be a guest on our show. I believe it's the the 7th?
7th, 8th, yeah, 7th.
So
Next Sunday.
yeah. And then before him,
Okay.
I don't know how he suckered me into this, but before he comes on, Willie Bam Johnson got us on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday.
Man, he's a smooth talker. If anybody, I don't know when's the last time y'all talked to him, but he's smooth. Because I was telling him, like, look, we do this on a Sunday, but we
Who
are
is this,
able
Willie?
to, yeah. But I told him, like, we're able to accommodate your schedule. Just let me talk to my partner about it. He's like, well, I don't have anything Wednesday. What are you doing Wednesday? Like, that's gonna be kind of tight. He's like, well, Sunday's I don't do anything day. So can we do it Wednesday? Okay, Wednesday it is. And that's how we got Wednesday.
You talking about Willie Johnson?
Yes, sir.
Bam.
Okay. So he was smooth
Yeah, he got me.
with 3 O's?
Yeah, that's some 3-0 stuff right there. I don't know if I could top that.
Bam.
That's,
No.
3 O's stuff. There you go.
that's a Baltimore. That's how we do it in Baltimore.
Well, I just wanted to come on and say hello, Bridget. I am was running a virtual tournament this weekend, one of the NASCAR Virtual Cup, so helping with that. And now I got to catch up on everything because I've been MIA working on that all weekend. And she's gone.
So how many schools do you have now?
8 p.m.
I'm sorry, yes.
Christine, how many schools do you have now?
Just one. My son has one, and Don and I run one.
Okay. How's Don?
He's doing good, you know.
Okay.
He needs a hip replacement, so he's going to be getting that done in the very near future.
We'll be
Okay.
praying
Well,
for
if he
him.
remembers me, tell him I said hello.
Oh, he does. He
Okay.
does.
The best four-letter word from Coach Don that I've learned in my entire life, I will always take with me is time. And that's the only thing that we have in life is time.
Yep.
Yep. And I love him for sharing that, you know, especially,
Yes.
you know, given our fallen JPM members and even our time together is this time has passed by so fast.
It does. It does. It's crazy. It's crazy how long ago we were on the show. I mean, it seems like it was not that long ago.
Right.
But Bridgett, I was just saying, then you got cut off that I have to go, but I wanted to step in and say hello to you, and it's been a long time, and we got to catch up.
Jamie, is that moonshine?
I'm glad you're feeling better and doing better.
Chris,
And
it's so good to see you. It's so I'm so happy. You guys are you all look wonderful. Thank
all right,
you. You guys
enjoy
look
the rest of the show.
and I'm so happy for everybody. Like I wish we could all get back together again.
I know. We need a reunion.
Chris, it's great
That's
to
right.
see you.
WMAC Grandmaster.
Same here. Bye, guys.
Later. Take it easy.
Bye, Christine.
Bye.
Big lightning.
Bye, Chris. Bye, Chris.
All right.
Trip out, man.
Well, we figured we'd do something nice for you. You know, we've been trying to find you guys, and you know, for each one we've had on the show, we've trying to reunite you guys. We're working on Hakeem, man. Hakeem he got busy on us. So we're working on Hakeem. Willie's right before
Grandpa
you,
needs to come
kid,
back.
and I will make sure we pass that message along. All right. Now, Smooth, we got one more topic that I wanted to touch before we close out with for the rest of the show with Bridgett, and that is soccer.
Football?
As you know, yeah. Now, Smooth, as you know, the Cleveland Crunch made their return, and she froze up again. Cleveland Crunch made their return last night in an exhibition game against the Brew City Legends, and dog walked the Legends 12-4. I watched this game from whistle to whistle, and I'm excited. I'm more excited about this than I was when the Crew won the MLS Cup. And I have to say, this team looked almost exactly like those old Crunch teams that won the championships in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Indeed, man.
And for Jamie, the Cleveland Crunch is a indoor soccer team here in Cleveland. They played back in the day. They played under the NPSL. I forget what league they're in now, but their season starts in a few weeks. And I wrote an article about this last night, but it came out earlier today. But they only have 4 practices. 4 practices and 2 tryouts, and they were able to put up 12 on the Brew City.
Man,
I'm excited.
I'm excited about it too. I mean, I know that growing up, we got a chance to see those games, and then of course, back when it was called the Convocation Center, which is now the Wolstein Center at Cleveland State, they played their games there, and a guy by the name of Hector Marinero, probably one of the greatest indoor soccer players of all time, let's just call it what it is, played for us. And it was cool to be able to see that guy. And, shout out to my dude, Desan. I feel like that's one of the reasons why, he was successful in soccer and went pro, played a little MLS himself. Because we used to go to actual Cleveland Crunch games when they were, there. And I lived like 5 minutes away from there growing up. So for me, it was like really a shot down the street to be able to check them out. And it's just cool to see the team come back after being gone for so long and to kind of bring life back into the city along with everything else that's been happening in the meantime. Of course, like, with the Cavs and their success when LeBron was around and stuff like that, and seeing the Browns finally come back and do their thing, Indians have always been in it. It's just the management, what you're going to do with that. But to see the Crunch get back on top, man, or, be back there, I'm looking forward to the, actual games coming up. And I'm hoping that some of these past players get a chance to get involved with it too. Last we checked, because Marinero, he's still coaching at John Carroll, right?
As far as I know, as of right now, yes, he is. And we've actually reached out to him. We're still waiting on a reply. But as far as I know, he is still up at John Carroll.
Because that would be awesome to get him involved, man. I mean,
they
dude
need
put a
to.
staple on it.
They need to. And for those watching who are actually invested or interested in soccer, believe it or not, these Cleveland Crunch teams were the teams before LeBron in 2016 to bring a championship to Cleveland.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know a lot of people don't count it, but you can't just erase it. They were always on the news. They were on the news more than the Cavs were back then.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody can believe that. So, Cleveland for the 5 years was title town with those championship teams from 94 to 99 with the Crunch, and Hector Marinero was a big part of those teams. So,
and I was checking that website out too, man, and they have an actual feed or a YouTube video showing like when they had their title and how crazy it was in the Convocation Center and like just loud, man. People were right there in the action because in an arena like that, it's not on the same level or as big as like a Madison Square or something like that because it was at a college basketball arena, so you're a lot closer with the team. But it has the same level of loudness the way it was built in there. Like the acoustics in there is amazing, So it felt like 30,000 people were there when you may have only had barely like a third of that watching the game,
right.
And it was great because they used to fill it up. They would definitely fill it up.
Yeah.
And for people like us that didn't really play soccer or know much about it, like that was our ticket. That was our way to see it, And it was just so exciting. Like it was so hype. I mean, I don't think I ever would have even watched a soccer game if not for the Cleveland Crunch, which is why it's so near and dear to my heart. For sure.
Man, what? I've actually went to. Go ahead.
The only like big time soccer game that I've ever been to was in Atlanta in 1996. I think it was an Olympic soccer match where it was Mexico versus the U.S.
Ooh.
And somebody gave me some free tickets. And
nice.
It's a lot of people, crack on soccer, make fun of soccer because soccer is a tough sport. Those athletes are in crazy shape, and so fast.
That and the fact that that's an endurance sport. Along the lines. That's along the lines of rugby for me. And when I actually did play, I was more interested in the psychology of the game than I was the actual, the scoring and the body checking and the slide tackling. So when you watch old Cleveland Crunch games with Hector Marinero and you see just how bad of a player he was, like how scary good he was. Imagine what he could have done on an outdoor field.
Man, it's something I wish I would have seen, man. That dude was gifted. Seriously gifted.
I'm pretty sure he's schooling his players right now.
Oh yeah.
Sure. At practice. That's one of those things I wish we could have got more of before he retired, or before the Crunch even folded. Just he and don't get me wrong, it wasn't just Hector, but Hector was the glue for those teams. So watching these teams now and watching Mike Durzick get a hat trick last night, it reminded me of Hector. And like they were scoring in bunches.
So, Mel, I don't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to let you know I talked to Johnny Smith, Tiger Claw, today.
Oh,
and he said that he couldn't come on tonight, but he would. Mike could fit it in for next Sunday. So he said just reach out and contact him, and he said he could do it if you needed him next Sunday. If you were interviewing someone else,
I mean,
that he would be a special guest, kind of thing.
We will work that out because you two, the hardest people to get in touch with. We gonna work this out. We gonna figure something out.
Yeah, we got to be on there together because he and I kind of, since we grew up together and used to spend the night at each other's house when we were kids and things like that, we can crack on each other like nobody else. Like it is, he and I love ripping each other up. So
I can believe that.
So you guys were talking about the other sports like basketball and football and soccer and everything, and like if my black belts, some of my black belt buddies, that I train with, they know that I don't know anything about like team sports. Like I can name all the boxers. I can name all the UFC fighters. I can tell you their records and who was champ like 40 years ago in boxing and all that. But like, as far as like football and stuff, I know nothing about, but I was going to ask Carmichael, does he remember, I think it was Battle of Atlanta in 94, I think. So I'm probably going to mess this up. So is it Atlanta Falcons? Is that correct? Is that a protein?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. You can make it. Yeah, it's okay to make fun of me because, okay. So you know how like if you're in Walmart or somewhere and you see some dude that's like 6'6", like 350, you're like, that is a humongous human being. That's a big dude. In the hotel lobby of the Hilton walks in 40 Atlanta Falcon players, and every single one of them was like 6'6" and like 350. I had never seen that many big men all together in the same room. And I got on the elevator to go to my room, and 5 of these dudes gets on there with me. So I don't know who these people are because I don't keep up with sports, but I just remember looking to my left and like my eyes were at this guy's chest. And then I looked at over here to my right, and my eyes were at this guy's chest. And I thought, I would hate to fight one of these guys. Like, imagine, like they could rip your arms off. They could rip your arms off. Like they're incredibly strong and fast. And here I am in the elevator. Of course, I'm looking at the elevator where it's got weight, maximum capacity, 3,000 pounds. And I'm trying to calculate up, okay, 350 plus 350 plus 350 plus, because these were humongous men on this elevator. But I didn't know if Carmichael, if you remember seeing those guys there in Atlanta.
Yeah, I didn't see them, but the type of venues we went to were pretty big convention centers, right? Yeah. I think it was during the time when they just built out the not the Georgia Dome, but the Olympic Center as well, right? So it was post Olympics, 92, right? So
yeah.
So they were still using those facilities. My only, the majority of my time was remembering as a kid Freaknik.
Man, I wish I would have got the opportunity.
You could hear fire. You can hear the thump from all the whips, and it was just this music the night before the tournament. So as a kid, you're like 13, 14, you look down from the, looking down the street, and it is partying. That's what I remember about Atlanta.
I'm jealous, kid. I'm jealous, man. Wow. My aunt and my uncle used to go there all the time, man. And I remember I was way too young, obviously. Yeah. Like back then, I probably was like 9, 10, maybe. I cannot. I was thinking about like, okay, when I get to, be out the house and I'm going to college and all that stuff, man, I'm gonna go, and then when I got the opportunity, it was like, so y'all not doing this anymore? Like, what happened? Like, it just stopped? Like, I was disappointed because I
Yeah.
was ready. I'm like, I'm about to go. I don't care how I'm getting there or who I'm going with. We going, and nope. They're like, Ronnie, it don't happen. I'm like, what? It's done?
Now it's just
Okay, that's messed
all
up.
transition to Louisiana. It's just
Yeah,
going
everything,
Mardi
man.
Gras or something now. So
That's crazy. Oh, speaking of which, Wolf, I was going to ask you. So this is something I wanted to ask you guys last week, even for you, kid, too. Um, with regards to like some of the contact or MMA and stuff like that, I wanted to know. You guys were saying how you followed it a little bit too. Who overall, or maybe a few people, I would say, is like your favorite, MMA fighters out there, past or present?
Can I start with kickboxing, or does it have to be
Yeah.
MMA?
No, it can be whatever. Yeah.
I'm a Raymond Daniels fan. I love Raymond. He's
Okay.
he's a homie. So it's like for him to do sport karate, grow up in that scene, and then actually transition to become a world champion kickboxer, and then transitioning to grappling and MMA. It's great because we never got that longevity in our sport. It just didn't happen, but everything was happening at the same time. I remember when Jamie and Johnny used to train with the Gracies. They'd be going, they would train when they were offset, and was Hickson, I think you guys were training with, right?
Yeah, Johnny was.
You guys, yeah. So the thing, the influence was there, but everything was starting at the same time. It's like you had UFC at the same time as WMC Masters, at the same time as Ninja Turtles, at the same time was Power Rangers and Mortal Kombat, and it was in fantasy. Like I remember the mid 90s, by the time stunts came to me as a career, it was Hong Kong came in for like pennies on the dollar. So, they basically, if you think about it, that is when, Jackie Chan came through with, his Rumble in the Bronx.
Man. Yeah.
Animation, like the Ninja Turtles kind of died out, but it was like the genre of movie making and the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. But the Matrix, that's what Bridgett was saying, Chad, from 87-11. That team is the top stunt team, right? So it's an interesting decade. That late 90s decade was the seed. That's what birthed everything that you see now. So, watching longevity of a fighter evolve from where sport or point fighting, now they've transitioned to two other disciplines. Well, actually times 10, because you have to learn multiple disciplines to do MMA, right? And be an athlete, that's just an amazing feat. For any athlete.
Best decade of the 90s.
For sure, man. Because like you said, kid, like you got like the Turtles is going out or whatever a little bit, but then everything else kind of blowing up. You have all these different like video game movies coming out and trying to like pay homage to some of the older stuff that we used to see, like different kung fu flicks and samurai stuff like that. And then you had other movies that were kind of like different. So like I know we had mentioned Taekwondo and stuff like that. I was a huge Best of the Best fan.
Oh yeah,
man!
So I love Best of the Best. The first two.
Speaking of which,
after the second one, I'm like, but the first two were.
Speaking of which, I'm glad you brought that up because we actually
Philip Reed, man.
I didn't find Philip, but I found Simon, who was actually Day Hine. I'm working on him. I don't know how, but we're going to get him on here. I need to learn that Superman punch he gave Philip in the first part of that fight.
Yes, that was, oh, man. I love me some Best of the Best, man.
That actually showed me what sport Taekwondo really was back then. And I was
me
like,
too.
yo.
Because I had no idea until I saw that. I'll be honest. I saw that, I'm like,
I remember seeing it. I remember seeing it in the 92 Olympics, but that was about as far as it got.
It wasn't much after that. Well, here in the States, it wasn't much to,
Yeah.
On that level to see it, yeah.
So
okay, real quick, for whatever reason, Bridgett cannot get back on, but she sends her love to the gang. She thanks us for being on. Hopefully we can bring her back and get this situated. We can get her an Android so we don't have these problems. Telling you, man, we starting to go fund me as soon as this is over with.
What you about to say, Jamie?
So you guys were talking about best. You guys were talking about best of the best, and that's one of my favorite movies too. And the coach for the American team, was James Earl Jones.
Oh,
but
yeah.
on the Korean team, and
Hee
Carmichael
Il
Simon
Cho.
would probably know, it was
Oh,
Hee Il
master.
Cho, like the great Taekwondo master. I mean, the guy could like spinning back kick and break a bag. Like this guy was the real deal.
Yeah.
So
360 twist kicks.
no, beautiful jump twist kick. Yeah, it was amazing. And he was not super young then either. Like I have
He
all
looked
of his
it.
like books and stuff.
Yeah, he did.
My dad had a library of books from the 70s, and so I have all of Hee Il Cho's early books.
Nice.
Still. Yep.
You know what?
And
Watching that movie, I kind of wondered, like, what would it be like under these, like being under these masters and students? Like, I know we talk about it a lot, Ronnie, in between shows during the week, but like, not necessarily James Earl Jones, but like Master Hee Il Cho, Kid, Jamie, what are you guys like as teachers? Like, because we know you as people now, we don't know you as teachers. So what is that like for you guys?
At least for me, like, I feel like people nowadays are like, people nowadays don't have, me and Grayson were talking about this, like people just don't have like thicker skin. Like they're not as mentally as tough, it seems like, because like when my dad started martial arts, they trained on hardwood floors with no heat or no air. The canvas heavy bag was filled with like corn kernels. And so you didn't want to kick it in the wintertime because your toes were frozen because there was no heat. And by the time I came along, we had heat and air, but we trained pretty much on a little concrete slab with like a thin layer of indoor outdoor carpet over this concrete slab. And then now my students who were training in the same school, they have like Mike Swain gold medal mats. And so we went from hardwood to carpet to mats. And so people are a little softer, but also not just their bodies, but like mentally, like like if I taught the way my dad taught, I would probably have 4 students. I mean,
I can believe it.
That's just true.
I can believe it.
I probably couldn't do it for my job.
I get it.
I mean, it's a different generation, but I'd always wanted to know because, like I said, we're getting to know you guys as people outside of the martial arts arena. You guys are awesome people to know. So I've always wanted to know that because you guys are still teaching, and more or less.
I did want to share this with you. I meant to tell you guys last week, and I didn't. I guess I didn't get a chance to share it, but like my dad passed a few years ago. It'll be 2 years next month, and I wanted to share, like, he always had this saying where he said, "Never forget where you came from," and because like he grew up, like on the poor side of town, like people say it was the ghetto or whatever. Like he grew up in the ghetto. And when he wanted to take karate as a teenager, it was $6 a month for lessons. That's how much lessons cost back then in the 1960s, $6 a month. Well, he was so poor, he didn't have $6. But back then you could take your glass Coke bottles, like he would collect them from neighbors and stuff. And you could take that bottle to the store and you could get a nickel. And he would save all of these Coke bottles from all of these family and friends so he could get enough money to take lessons. And that's like, I don't think most kids would do that. I don't think most people want to take that bad. Like he wanted to take so bad, he was willing to sacrifice. But the way he got into karate was he got into karate when he was 17. But when he was 15, he had a motorcycle crash and it broke his pelvis. It broke his hip. And so he was on crutches for 18 months. And the doctor said, you need to get into some activity that's going to loosen up your hips. And he's like what? And he goes, like karate. And so my dad went down and tried out a judo class. He wasn't crazy about it because the throws kind of hurt his hip a little bit, but he ended up earning a yellow belt in judo. And then he switched over to taekwondo, fell in love with it. And, just because, he had this this motorcycle wreck, he was on crutches. He got into martial arts, but he didn't have the money. So he collected Coke bottles. I mean, it's just a story where somebody's poor and they struggle, but a lot of good came out of that, because had he not got into karate, then I probably wouldn't be doing it to the level that I'm doing it. And neither would Johnny Smith. I mean, because, my dad practically raised him, and things like that. So, I just wanted to share that the sacrifices he made so that we could, be here and do what I do.
And that's an awesome story, because like,
it is,
for me, I'll say that watching the stories that you guys gave us on the show from WMAC Masters, and then hearing real life, this is what I really had to do to get here. I think if you guys bring the show back, I think these stories would do you guys a lot of justice, because, especially for somebody like Kid, because when we saw Kid, we were like, oh man, he finna get it. He finna win the Dragon Star. He got a kick ain't nobody ever seen before. To us, he was the person that was gonna take over where you guys had left off.
I think that's what gravitated you all to the show, is because I was probably close to the same age as you, so you can relate to me, right, to some extent.
Well, you were 17, and that was like 96,
94.
94, 95. I was about 8, 9.
95, 96.
Okay, there you go. I mean, I wanted to go back because it does speak to what you guys are talking about. Is, I remember seeking my masters. That's what I always loved to do. I wanted to find the next master for me to evolve my choreography. Like, I've always loved dancing. That's like my love. I love music. So for me now as a producer, I look at myself more as a choreographer and as a producer. Martial arts to me is just a tool now of my life. But that's where I was able to harness skills, because I loved choreography that much. I wasn't much of a fighter. I knew how to point fight. I understood the concepts of it. But for me, it was always about the movement and the music. And that's what sort of gravitated me to, do tricking or fuse Shaolin groove, martial arts and dance together. That last time that was seen was in the 80s, right? Which, that's what developed breakdancing, with animal styles and the ticking and the waving, and doing those type of, elements of hip hop, or even the elements of animal styles. So, to bring that back is just, that's what really I enjoy, that nurtures me as an artist overall, is the choreography. I've always loved choreography. So martial arts was just a vessel for me to share that talent.
But you guys are nurturing in such a way now that it's just like, we never would have thought as kids that you guys would have evolved martial arts, dancing in Kid's case, and just fighting in general to where it is now. Like, you see, just to throw it out there, I never thought watching or playing Tekken, watching capoeira evolve the way it has, until you see Lateef Crowder, who's arguably greatest capoeira fighter.
Amazing.
Man.
Amazing.
And he's sitting up here serving Tony Jai in The Protector in one of the best fight scenes ever in movies. So it's like, for me to see and speak with you guys and get to know you, like, this was like, I was telling Bridgett earlier, because she was talking about, she sent me a picture of her and Martin and behind the scenes, and I had to tell her, it was like, to be honest with you, talking to you guys is better than meeting Martin and Will, hands down. Like, we've learned so much from you guys. Like,
right.
That's the influence I like. That's the influence that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So,
You know,
we can never thank you enough for that.
I was fortunate, and I'll tell this, I was fortunate because I grew up on the East Coast in Maryland, right? The DMV. So juniory, Grandmastery was already there with all the world champions kickboxers like Michael Coles and Jeff Smith. Congress was learning martial arts ballet from juniory. So that was one influence. The other influence was West Coast, bringing in Ernie Jr., the West Coast demo team. We used to do loop kicks out there in California. So all the trickers would go there, and Latif would go out there and train with us as well. So there's like this hybrid of, think of it as Biggie, really Tupac. Tupac grew up on the East Coast, moves to LA or really goes to Oakland and makes his money in LA. It's like that was really the dichotomy during that generation post Tupac, was how can you learn different disciplines and put it all together. And watching Grandmaster Reed's technical acumens and the structure that he developed, business and curriculum, and then Ernie Sr.'s way of conducting production, film, and really harnessing Ernie Jr., it was amazing what we've done here in the United States per se. And that's why I never believed in, for me personally, as you know, Jamie, we are an American style, because we've taken from and learned from other disciplines of Korean, Chinese, and Japanese and created our own style. Now they call it extreme martial arts, but it's really an American style.
Right. And for a long time, I didn't believe that, because now I do. Like, I agree with you. But like when I was growing up, we were like traditional Korean stylists. So when I would go compete, I would enter the Korean division, although I could do all these kip ups and back tiger dives and all these things. I would still do the Korean division. And sometimes I would get disqualified, but I would never place higher than like fourth, because I would get beat by Eric San Jose and Dave McCumber and Michael Dietrich. And then I did that for like 5 years. I would compete in the Korean division because I was loyal to that. Like, I do Korean martial arts, and I would think, well, there's no such thing as American karate. I'm not going to enter that American karate division. But really, it was the only division where I could like flip and tumble and do tornado drop kicks and all this stuff. And so I switched. I remember it was in LA, and I switched I was like, this is going to be my last tournament. It's going to be my last year. I'm not going to compete anymore after this, because I can't get a fair shake. I never place higher than third. I'm not saying I'm better than those guys, but I'm just as good. Sometimes I should win first or second, and sometimes they should win third or fourth, but not every single time I'm getting third and fourth and fifth. And so I switched over to the American division. There was only 10 competitors. And so we all did our thing. And I had to go first, by the way. I got the worst crappy draw. I always got the worst draws. Had to go first. So when they started calling out 8th place, and then 7th and 6th and 5th, and we got to like 4th, it wasn't me. And then when it got to 3rd, I thought, I didn't even place. I got like 9th or 10th. It's the first term I never even placed. And then they called out 2nd. And I was like, this is it. I'm quitting. And then they called out 1st place, and they said my name. And I actually looked around like, is there another Jamie Webster here? Like, I couldn't believe I won. Like, I really won. And then get this. This is the funny part. So it's over, and I go back to my room, and I'm laying there watching television. And then I sit straight up in the bed, and I go, oh, I have to compete on the stage tonight. Like, I didn't even enter my mind that, oh yeah, dummy, you won, so you're going to go in the nighttime final show. It didn't even occur to me, because for 5 years I hadn't been in a nighttime show. And so I was like, I don't even have any music. So Chad, who had placed 5th that day in musicals, I was like, hey man, I need to borrow your music. Like, I don't even have any music. So I competed in my first nighttime show on borrowed music. Got through with my form. Did not even hear one thing the judges said. Didn't even hear them call out scores. And out of 7 judges, 4 of them were 10s. But I didn't even hear that. I didn't even hear it. So my first time on the stage, I did borrowed music, and I got all these 10 perfect points or whatever. I walk off the stage. I'm just shaken up because I was just glad that I finished my routine without stumbling. And I walk off, and I remember Dave McCumber was there. He's like, congratulations, man, you got it. And I'm like, you think so? Like, won the whole thing? And he goes, yeah, you got 4 10s. And I'm like, I did? And he goes, yes, you got 4 perfect 10s. And I'm like, no, I don't think so. And so like I won the trophy, won the jacket and everything. And that was like really changed my trajectory as a competitor, because I was like I belong. Like I felt like I had trained just as hard as these other people. And like, I felt like I kind of deserved to be there, not in an arrogant way, but I was just like, I paid my dues. I've been coming for years, and it's kind of my time to like do something. And so then that later on that year in the Battle of Atlanta is when Pat Johnson saw me, and he told Jeff Smith that, oh, I like this guy as far as his moves, but at the end of his form, he raises his hands and does this nod thing, like, I nailed it. Like, I'm all that in a bag of chips or whatever. And so he said, I'm not going to call him because he's arrogant, which actually was the opposite. Like I'm consider myself pretty humble dude, but like, I felt like that was my stage performance. Like I was performing, like I was auditioning for a commercial. Like I had to sell it. So I had to like really, and then I was thinking, wait a minute, he thinks I'm arrogant. Does he not see the way Chris Casamassa behaves after he does his form, when he nods his head and does like, I'm confident, I won, I know I got that. I was just kind of copying him too. And so anyway, he ended up calling me, and that's how I got on the show. Was Jeff Smith said, no, he's a humble dude. Like, give him a call. Like, he's legit.
There you go. That's it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
How do you find this stuff?
That's it. That's me. That's it.
Go have a drink.
Wow. That is funny.
Yeah.
We just took a throwback song to the 90s.
I remember
right
going
there.
to tournaments, and people I used to do the move kind of like Chris Casamassa would do when he would catch his foot, and I could, pick on him and say, no, he only caught his ankle or something. But like Gabriel Naga would kick and put his hand behind his foot and like hold it straight up. And I used to do a move like that. Even when I was 15, I would do that move. And other people at tournaments would copy me. And of course, I was all into breakdancing and stuff. And so I would like quote like these breakdancing movies like Beat Street. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Beat Street or whatever. But like I would quote these breakdancing movies, like when people would copy my moves or whatever, I'll be like, look at these guys biting my moves. They're just always biting my moves because their moves ain't worth a bit. So what's up with that, punk? I was like, talking to them like that. And my dad would say, they're copying you because they think you're good.
Yeah.
Like you need to be proud they're copying you because they must think you're worth copying. And so that really stuck with me. My dad always had the best words to, reel me back into reality.
Remember, this is pre-YouTube time, right? So you got to really meditate on this. You got to really be influenced. You have to. It's sort of like the old school Jay-Z sell the CD at the back of the trunk model, and even tape for Run DMC, right? It's that's the only way you can get content. That's how it was. It's like you would have to go, and if you had enough support, go to these tournaments and really see the best of the best. And it was like the best of the best per se, because that's where really they, the Reeve family competed in California. There's a Long Beach Internationals by Ed Parker. That was a national tournament that everybody went, to in Southern California, right, during that time. And then you have Junery Internationals, which were all the East Coast guys. So it's, that's how people got found. You had Junery and Bruce Lee, and they were friends. Mm-hmm. And that's how movements begin. But it was really a small clique of individuals, I would say, that was able to inspire and imagine. Because you got to imagine there's no, you're moving tapes through different cities. Let's say from Ohio, there's a tournament that moves to Detroit and then goes to New York City and hopefully get in a tri-state to Philly. Mm-hmm. And if you get to Philly, you can at least get it to Baltimore or DC. And then it just keeps trickling down from there. And that's what was really important. That's what I miss. That's why I'm saying, like, seeking masters. Like, you really have to go find the new masters because everybody has an opinion. And people people's thoughts can only last for like 30 seconds. They're Snapchatting, TikTok, and that's about it. But if you're really authentic and really are about it, you'll find them. Like we talked about last week with Jamie. It was like, masters and instructors and teachers, like we're all learning from each other ultimately.
Yep.
So these type of experiences is the most important thing. I mean, virtually now, but
well, the video that you hit when you held up your phone and had Jamie Hooper doing the kicks and everything. When I was a kid, when I was 12 years old, he would bring Jackie Chan movies to my house that were in Chinese. At the bottom were subtitles, not in English, in a different Chinese dialect. So we're watching the movie in Chinese, can't read the Chinese at the bottom, but we're not watching it for we're watching it for the training, the move, the techniques and everything. And so my teacher, whatever Jackie Chan did, he would do. So when Jackie Chan like digs a hole and like jumps out of a hole, he would dig a hole and jump out of the hole. And then when he could jump out of the hole, he would dig it deeper and then jump out of the hole. Like crazy training, like hanging upside down, doing all the, pushing out from the tree and doing a sit up and letting your back hit the board. He made all that stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I got to train. I was pretty lucky to get to train with the guys like that.
Yeah. I mean, think about like Wu-Tang. I saw the last episodes of the Wu-Tang series. It's like that. Like they got inspired by 36 Chambers, right? And it became a brand and it became a movement and a lifestyle. So there's a lot of influence.
But yeah, it was. Definitely. Now, Jamie, before we wrap up, I have a very serious and yet funny question at the same time. Since you said you and Johnny were breakdancers back in the day, who wins this battle?
No, wait. Now, he was Lil Jon. Lil L-I-L apostrophe. Lil Jon.
Oh man.
Okay. Whoa. I was Dr. Rock.
Oh wow.
Dr. Rock.
Okay.
We had Lil Jon.
Oh yeah.
We had Lil Jon, Dr. Rock, and Scurvy. Scurvy was the best.
Danny.
Was the best at like doing all the waves and stuff.
Danny?
Oh man.
That was Danny, right?
Danny Cottingham.
Oh, that's a cool name.
Scurvy. Okay, well, I still have to ask. Before we wrap it up. Who wins in a battle?
We used to compete. We would go breakdance and compete in breakdancing competitions. And like we went over to like Huntsville and we competed in a breakdancing competition. And they said if you like this one competition we did, they said if you win, you can go to Huntsville and you demonstrate and you audition and you're going to be on MTV. And so we like show up and we like do our moves. And there's like no big producers there. It was like all a big thing to get people over there. Like it was just a trick, but we went, we won, but we didn't get on MTV.
I still have to ask, because I was wondering this since you said it last week. Who wins in a battle? You and Johnny and Danny versus Turbo, Ozone, and Kelly from the movie Breaking.
Oh man!
Okay, so the best breakdancing movie is Beat Street. It's Beat Street, not like Breaking and like Ozone and Turbo. They were very good, but Scurvy could run circles around those guys. Like it wasn't even close. And but like Beat Street, if you watch the Beat Street, some of their moves are still top notch to this day. Like still top breakers. Even some of the guys from Korea, they're amazing. And I watched some of those power breakers.
I figured I'd ask because I when you said it last week, I pictured in my head you and Johnny trying to break dance, and I was just like, how does this work? Because Johnny's like 6'4", 6'5". You're like 6 feet.
Johnny's only about 6 feet tall. I'm 5'10" on a good day, and anyway, Johnny was the first one to get the windmill. And he was in high school, and I was still like in the 7th or 8th grade. And he would come home from high school and go take a nap in his room. And like I had all this energy. I'm like, man, you just got out of school. You've been sleeping in every class. Why you got to come home and sleep? Like, let's get out and dance. And he's like, man, I'm tired, man. I'm taking a nap. And I was like, man, come on, you sleep all the time. Like, get up. And so he wouldn't get up. And I said, I lied. And I said, I've got my windmill. Like I could backspin. I think my record was like 23 backspins. You know, you would count every time your head came around, you would count. I could do like 23 backspins in a row. Like that's a lot, but I couldn't windmill. And he could windmill, but he had just learned it and it was kind of slow. And then I said, come on, wake up and come outside. Like I got my windmill. And like he sat up and he was like, you better not be lying. If I get up, you better have it. And I'm like, no, I got it. I didn't have it. Went outside on his driveway, put the cardboard down. I did the windmill for the first time. I don't know how. It just did it. I don't know if I was afraid he was going to kick my butt or something, but like I did the windmill for the first time. And so, yeah, we were pretty heavy into breakdancing. We kind of like put martial arts. It was like a 50-50. Like we were so into breakdancing that we would still practice a couple times a week, but we were breakdancing every day.
I just wanted to see who would win that battle. Now that I know, I'm not gonna ask or grill you about it anymore. Oh. Uh-oh.
This is my grandbaby. This is Grayson's little girl.
Hey.
Hi, Olivia. Can I have a kiss? Where's my kiss?
Oh.
All right. Love you. You look beautiful. You look beautiful. You taking off?
I'm not gonna say my children are banned from the show, but they've made their presence known from time to time.
I'm sure they have.
Man,
bye guys. I love y'all.
It was almost for them first. What was it? Them first 3 episodes.
Have your kids watched Masters?
My kids?
Yes. Have they watched it?
Well, my youngest son, he likes to fight. He's at that fighting stage now. So yes and no, because it's yes, because we binge watch it on occasion when you guys are about to be on the show. And then it's no, because once he sees a move he likes, I'm usually the one he attacks first, and I don't like it. So to keep us from fighting, when he sees a move that he wants to emulate, we just change it. So I don't have to avoid, I don't have to have that conversation of why you beat up your son.
See, for me,
and I don't have no witnesses here, so they can't testify for me.
Yeah. My kids are they're still super young. Like my oldest is 6, and he's just now kind of getting into some things. Like he doesn't quite understand still fully, like, all the superhero stuff and Avengers and all that. So it's cool because he's starting to kind of come out of that era of like, the Paw Patrol and all that other stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to get more excited about me too. Oh my goodness, let it go, please. Oh my gosh. Like, but I still got 2 other ones, that's like my daughter, actually, she'll be 4 on Wednesday. Okay. And then my youngest just turned 1 in December. So with them, it's like, it's always going to be around for at least the next 4 years. Yeah. But with him, he's like trying to look at different fights and stuff like that. And I said, okay, cool. Well, I'm going to start to introduce you to some things too, because he just got an interest in Ninja Turtles and all of that. Because, like, quite frankly, me and my wife were like, well, let's just try to see if we can raise our kids in the 90s.
Well, so, that's right.
We show them the Turtles. We show them, like, Rugrats and Doug and all that stuff that we used to watch growing up. And as far as some of the other stuff,
you got to do the old Turtles, though. You got to do the old Turtles, not this new stuff.
Oh, yeah.
The old
not
stuff.
The new one. No, we showed them all the movies first. So they got a chance to see all that. We can't find the original cartoon though.
Give me if you can't find it on DVD, give me a couple of days. I might be able to find it, because I actually found, because I was telling my daughter, my youngest daughter, who's 2 going on 25, she needs to have an appreciation for the classic cartoons.
Oh, for sure.
I started having her watch Muppet Babies, and she don't care for it at all.
Hey, dude, look, when
when the newest Turtles came out a few years ago, my studio actually did a demonstration at the theater.
Oh,
and
nice.
so we got free tickets, and I just didn't like it as much as the old stuff. And I remember there was a fight scene. Like, I like fight scenes and all, but it seems like now some of the fight scenes just go on forever. I remember they were fighting on top of this mountain or something, and they started sliding down the mountain. And I told my wife, I said, hey, I'm going to go get a refill and hit the bathroom, and I'll be back. So when I left, like, they were sliding down the mountain. I go out of the theater, I go to the bathroom, I go get a refill, I go back in, I sit back down, and they're still sliding, they're still fighting and sliding down the mountain. I'm like, they still been fighting this whole time I've been gone? I was like,
crazy.
Come on. Nobody's buying that.
No, I need that, Bill, because
I'm gonna look for it. Because I actually, believe it or not, when Kid said he was binge watching WMAC Masters, I had actually found somebody, whoever it was, put together both seasons of WMAC Masters, and it's like 9 hours long.
Yep.
On YouTube. And I wanted to see what else that they had, so I'm looking for that. But I wanted him to get into things that I grew up on, because like these reboots and these changes to the same shows are killing me, and I can't get into it. So I know he's not gonna get into it. Like what was it? This new Muppet Babies is terrible. It's terrible.
Yeah, I can't get with it, man.
Oh man, I wish my kids were that small again, though. I wish my kids were that young again. I miss them being that little.
Somebody had put up.
When they were that little, I didn't think so. Like, when they were that little, I was like, I wish they were older and it was a little easier. And then when they became teenagers, I was like, no, it was way easier when they were 5 and 6 than it is when they're 16. But then when they're 20 in their 20s, you're like, man, I wish they were back 5 again. That was so perfect. Miss them, man.
That's what the grandkids are for.
That's right. That's God's reward for not killing your own kids when they needed it. Man.
Trust me, I'm going through that now, man. It's extreme.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna touch it. Okay, folks.
Hey, so I need to run. Can you want to call me through the week, and if you want me on for next Sunday, just holler at me, and I'll be glad to. Whoever you have next week. After you said somebody, and I forgot who it was. Bam? Was it Bam?
Yep, Bam's on Wednesday, and Kid will be Sunday.
Wednesday.
I don't know how he did it, man.
You can't let him do you that way.
Man, look, it wasn't me, man. Look, I don't know what y'all knew about Bam, but Bam is a smooth talker when he want to be, man. He can sell salt to a slug. He got me.
That's funny.
He literally wrote me into saying, okay, we can do Wednesday.
Well, yeah, I have one class I teach on Wednesday. It's pretty much my day off. I just have one class like at noon. But if it's going to be in the evening, I can. If you want me, I don't want to like invite myself. But like, if you want to do me to come on, just holler at me and I'll do it. And then I'll see Carmichael next Sunday. Maybe we get Johnny on there too, because I know they had a fight in the Dome, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And Johnny ended up winning like 4-1.
Johnny's one of those guys that, because you were one of the smaller athletes, on the show, and Johnny's one of the bigger guys, and Johnny's one of these guys that can hurt you playing checkers, like he'll fall on you and hurt you kind of thing. And I was worried for you. I thought he might fall on you and crush you like a worm. So anyway. Well, it's good catching up with you guys.
It was great having you on.
Jamie.
We'd like to thank Bridgett, babydoll Riley, for being on, even though she had iPhone issues. We'd like to thank Kid. We'll see Kid next week, as well as Willie Bam Johnson. And Jamie, of course, you're always welcome back. So thank you for being on. Don't forget to like and follow us on Facebook and YouTube. Please subscribe on YouTube. You can also view previous episodes there. Don't forget to check us out throughout the week. We will be making posts about everything, and we'll catch up with news next week for 4th and 15. That's Kid. That's
All right.
Jamie. That's Smooth. I'm Mel. Peace.